Good morning, students. I hope all of you are keeping fine. Today, open your English textbook, Behave, to page number 41. Rain on the Roof by Court Skinney. Court Skinney was born on November 24th, 1826. He was a lawyer, politician, journalist, and a poet from US. You see how many qualifications he was having: lawyer, politician, journalist, and the poet. He got inspiration one night while trying to sleep in the old college dormitory. You know what is dormitory? Dormitory is a big hall where so many students will be put together. That is called dormitory, no individual room. During his college studies, he was in the hostel and he was in a dormitory. That means so many of them will be together. And remember, it's an old college dormitory, not a new hostel it was. And he was trying to sleep. He couldn't sleep. It was a rainy night. It was raining and he could hear the patter of the rain on the roof, and then there he gets inspiration. And there he put on paper this beautiful bit of verse. Verse means the poem. And this poem made Skinney very famous. Actually, he lived in an elegant residence and lived well, very comfortable, luxurious life. Elegant residence means very huge residence, very comfortable and big residence he lived, and he lived very well. He died at Ohio in January 25th, 1904. You see in your book there, it is there, when the sky is covered with dark clouds and it starts raining, have you ever listened to the patter of soft rain on the roof? What thoughts flashed through your mind as you heard this melody of nature? Read the poem to find out what the poet dreamed of while listening to the rain. Most of us have experience, and right now you can very well experience when it starts raining heavily, when the dark clouds will appear in the sky, and it will start raining heavily. But most of you are having the concrete roof, and therefore you will not hear the patter of the rain. But then those who have this asbestos sheet on the top, or at least you try to imagine when the raindrops falls on the asbestos roof, what would happen? It will make a lot of noise. You will be disturbed sleep like the poet is having, Court Skinney. We are not inspired because we are not poets. But then these poets, this is how they usually, even the small things that they notice, they will compose a poem on it. And that's why you see he writes a poem on this rain on the roof. Can you imagine the sound that is falling, patter on the roof, and he composed a poem. We shall read stanza by stanza, and I will explain to you. Pay attention, and you have the full thing in this video. You can just note it down, the meanings and the figures of speech as well as the explanation. First stanza. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears, what a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Try to understand the meaning. Humid shadows. Humid means full of moisture. Right now you will experience what is humid. We call humidity, the moisture, full of moisture. Then shadows, it refers to the moisture-laden clouds, the clouds full of moisture, and you will find the shadow on the earth. Hover, shadows hover. Hover means something that is moving around, moves around something. Melancholy, you see, and the melancholy darkness. Darkness is always melancholy. That means something very sad, opposite of joy, sadness. Bliss is happiness. Patter, sound of raindrops falling on the roof. Cottage chamber means the bedroom. He is referring to his bedroom. In this stanza, the poet is trying to tell that when the humid shadows hover over and the sky is full of these clouds, which are moisture laden, which are full of water and are about to bring rain, that time you feel sad. Very, humidity nobody likes. And the starry spheres refers to sky at night, which is full of stars. That time, the sad darkness of the night is wiped off by the raindrops, which seem like tears falling gently from the sky. You see, what the poet is trying to tell you here is that before rain, we feel very humid, we feel hot, uncomfortable, everywhere darkness, But then when it starts raining, all this darkness, the sad feeling is over and we feel very happy. The poet is comparing that the raindrops is falling like a tears falling from the sky. Okay, I will tell you later on the figures of speech that he is using here. The poet is comparing raindrops to tears, and he says that dark sky, which seems to be very sad, it appears as if it is crying, and the raindrops are the tears shed by it. Understood? And he adds that it is such a bliss, such a joy to lie on the bed in his room, he says cottage chamber, and listen to the sound made by raindrops falling on the roof. You have nowhere to go, nothing to do, just lie down on the bed in your room and listen to the patter of the rain on the roof. Did you follow the first stanza? With the figures of speech, still we will understand better, okay? You see, he uses plenty of figures of speech in this poem. First, the alliteration. You see how many alliteration he has used here. What is alliteration? First and foremost, I have posted the figures of speech, and I suppose you have gone through it, you have heard it, and you have written down in your notebook, okay? Alliteration is nothing but then repetition of consonant or vowel sounds in a same sentence, same line, we call alliteration. Here you see humid, hover. Here the sound H is repeating and therefore it is an alliteration. Stare is fierce. Meaning is actually full of star, but then the sound S is repeated, and so it is also an alliteration. It's not repetition. Remember, repetition is same words are repeated. Alliteration, the sounds are repeated. That's why it is an alliteration. Again, press pillow. He is telling here, you see, what a bliss to press the pillow. P, the sound P or consonant sound P is repeating here, and so it is again alliteration. Again you see, and lie listening to the patter, lie listening, L sound is repeated, and so it is an alliteration. He also is using the figure of speech, second figure of speech he is using is onomatopoeia. And what is onomatopoeia? The sound words, okay? Sound words are onomatopoeia. Listen to the patter, he is telling. Patter is the use of sound word. It is the sound made by the raindrops falling on the roof, and therefore it is an onomatopoeia. Again, he is using the personification. He is telling melancholy, darkness. It's your personification, because here darkness is personified, saying that it was sad. Darkness equal to sadness. Only human being can feel sad, not the darkness will feel sad. And that's why it is a personification. Then you will see there, in melancholy darkness, the same sentence, same line is also your transferred epithet. Your transferred epithet, what is transferred epithet? The use of an adjective with a noun when it refers to another noun. Here, darkness is not melancholy, I told you already earlier, but it refers to the sad people. People feel sad. That is called transferred epithet. So the first stanza is clear, I suppose. If it is not clear, rewind it and you listen to the explanation again. Second stanza. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start, and 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof, as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. You see here, again, same way, let us understand the word meaning. Tinkle, every tinkle. Tinkle is the short, light ringing sound. When the raindrops falling, the tinkling sound. Then shingles, on the shingle. Shingles is a rectangular wooden tiles used on roof. That is the shingles. And the roof, instead of concrete, people they will use also the tiles. That is called shingles. Then echo is a repeating sound. I suppose echoing. When you are close to the room and you will see, whatever you speak, it will echo. It will repeat after you. That is called echoing. Woof. Woof means the thread woven across the loom is the woof. Patter, I told you already, sound of raindrops falling on the roof. Here the busy being refers to human being, The poet is referring to himself. He is very busy. What is he busy with? Just thinking. Okay? And what he is thinking we will see in the next stanza. In this stanza, the poet is expressing his feelings when he hears the raindrops falling on the rooftop of his house. He says that every tinkle on the shingles, every drop of water falling on the roof, on the tiles, shingles, has an echo in his heart. It echoes. When it falls on the top, it echoes in his heart. Whenever he hears rain falling on the rooftop, the sound repeats in his heart and in his dreams. He has many different and fanciful imaginations. Fanciful means many imagination. He simply enjoys. Listen, that's why I call busy being. He's busy with imagination, filled with imagination. He adds that this sound of the rain falling on the rooftop creates many new different dreams in his mind. He recollects many memories of the past which comes back into his mind as dreams. That's why he's telling he's very busy dreaming what has happened when he was a child. So he says that as he listens to the patter of the rain upon the roof, as the raindrops is falling on the roof, simultaneously as the raindrops is falling on the roof, he is dreaming in his mind the memories of the past, which comes back to him in the form of dreams. Here also you see he is using the figure of speech, alliteration. The busy being, the sound B is repeated, or the consonant sound B, and therefore it is an alliteration. With their thread, the sound is repeated. You see TH and TH is there and thread. Therefore it is also an alliteration. Rain, roof, R is repeated, and so it is an alliteration. Again, tinkle, patter, these are the onomatopoeia. Then 1,000 recollections is a personification, because here he is 1,000 recollections he is personified when he says that they weave dreams. Okay. Then dreamy fancies is your personification. It does not mean that the fancies are dreamy, but refers to the people who have dreams, and therefore it is an transferred epithet. So in the second stanza, it's nothing but then as the raindrops falls on the tiles on the roof, simultaneously he remembers his childhood in the form of dreams. This much you remember. Okay. Now the third stanza. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone to regard the darling dreamers ere she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I list to this refrain which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. Your air, your air refers to ere she left them, before she left them. Okay, the old poetic word for before. Dawn is daybreak, early morning. List is the old poetic word for listen. Short form of listen is list. Refrain is the repeated part of a song or a poem. Here the sound of rain is refrain. Now again and again you come back to the same line, that is called refrain. In the last stanza, the poet introduces his mother. You see, he says that he is dreaming of his mother. Remember, he is in the second stanza, he was lying down and he was dreaming of his past. Past means what? When he was a child. His childhood he is dreaming of, and naturally childhood would be always related to family, and whom we are very close to, that is none other than our own mother. As he had told in the previous stanza, that raindrops brings memories of the past. It is the memory of his mother, who is no longer alive. In the past, she used to love him a lot. She used to consider him as darling, and she would let him sleep till daybreak and have sweet dreams. She was allowing him to sleep till morning without any disturbance. The poet can still feel that his mother is looking at him as he listens to the song made by the raindrops falling on the rooftop of his room. He is just thinking as if mother is alive. Okay. He says darling dreamers, which means those other kids who remember their mothers like the poet. The sound of the rain makes him correlate or relate his past with his present. That is why the poet is moved by the sound of the raindrops on the shingles of his room. Whenever he hears this sound, it brings back memories of the past and he is reminded of his mother. He is very fond of his mother. In short, now in these raindrops reminds him as he is sleeping, as he is trying to sleep, what he is remembering? He is remembering his mother, that how loving she was. She used to love him a lot. She would allow him to sleep till daybreak. She would call him darling every time. Okay, so he is just recalling, he is remembering and missing his mother. Memory of my mother. You see, M here, the consonant sound M is repeated and therefore it is a alliteration. Again, darling dreamers. Consonant sound D is repeated, alliteration. Patter, again, same thing, onomatopoeia. I hope you have understood the poem. The 3 stanzas are there. And the last stanza, second and the third stanza is this. In the first stanza, what happens before rain and when it rains, okay? How he loves to be in his cottage chamber bed and to lie down there and listen to the patter of the rain. Second stanza, he remembers the past. And the third stanza, that past is nothing but then his loving mother. Now, we will continue in the next video your questions answers, and you have here 4 questions that will not be repeated in your next video. Okay, I will try to do that, and you will have to write down all the questions answers in your notebook. Go through again, try to understand and learn it. You don't have to learn the poem by heart, but you will have to understand the summary of the poem so that whichever question is asked, you will be able to write the answer. Thank you, students.